poppin' YouTube? It's your girl Queen back with another video. I'm about to react to top 10 best and worst WWE finishes in 2022. I'm gonna run that back. I'm gonna say that one more time. Top 10 best and worst WWE finishers in 2022. And this month almost over with, so I want to do some recaps on 2022 with the wrestling. So that being said, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification, and comment down below what else you want me to react to. I'm about to dive into the vid. Let's see these finishers, y'all. Who got the best? Who got the worst? Let's see it. Alright, here we go.
In a wrestler's arsenal. While some finishers succeed at doing this, others do not.
My
In fact, some
bad.
finishers are so bad that they actually look like they're hurting the person performing the move more than the opponent. But which finishers are the best and which are the worst?
Right,
we rank them, and we're starting out with number 10, best. Seth Rollins.
I was about to say, you not finna rank Seth Rollins at no worst, but this the best, yeah.
The Stomp. This finisher is so
I love the Stomp.
violent looking that it actually got banned at one point. But that's what makes it so awesome. Rollins' Stomp isn't anything flashy. It's just a simple move that looks like it does some serious damage.
Yeah.
It goes to show you don't always need to do a ton of crazy flips to have an awesome finisher. I also like the originality of it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen someone use a move like this. A lot of finishers are moves that have been used by other wrestlers or have been slightly I guess that's why they call him the architect. Maybe Seth could help this next person construct a better finisher. Number 10 worst, Bayley, the Rose Plant. People have hated this finisher for years, and I understand why. I feel like the main issue is that Bayley's opponent doesn't usually have that much momentum when they come falling down, causing the impact.
I ain't gonna cap. I ain't gonna lie with you. That's not one of my favorite finishers by Bayley. Bayley, I love the Bayley to Belly. Yeah, something like that. Belly to Belly, that was called. I like that better than the Rose Plant. I won't knock her for it. I see what she did, but he might be right on that because it looks kind of slow-mo when they sell the move. Like,
packed to look weak. LA Knight's finisher, the BFT, suffers from the same problem as the Rose Plant, but there's usually a bit more force behind it. The problem with Bayley's finisher is that her opponent normally isn't standing all the way up, so only so much momentum can be created. This in turn causes Bayley's opponent to create minimal impact when they hit the mat, and the end result is a bad finisher. An example of a good finisher is number 9, best, Raquel Rodriguez.
Alright, let's see Raquel Rodriguez.
Chingona bomb. There's a saying that a finisher doesn't make the wrestler makes the finisher. Well, actually there isn't, but you get what I mean. What turns a good finisher into a great one really depends on the wrestler who performs it. Raquel Rodriguez does that with a Chingona bomb. The move complements not only her height, but also her strength, with Raquel slamming her opponent with one arm. The move also looks devastating as well, thanks to the amount of...
I mean, it's mid. I mean, for her, it's good because it shows her powerhouse skills and her strength, you know. And I feel like that's perfect for her, you know what I'm saying? It shows off her strength, so that's a good finisher, you know what I'm saying, for her. But me personally, I think it's just mid because you just...
force Rodriguez can hit her adversary with. It's a finisher that works better in the women's division than the men's, since the average female WWE wrestler is shorter and lighter than the average male wrestler. On the other hand, a finisher that doesn't work well in either division is number 9, worst, Roderick Strong, jumping knee.
Let's see.
I might be making some people upset by including this finisher, but Roderick Strong's jumping knee...
I ain't gonna count. He might got some points in this because I don't really like that.
Is not good. It's a fine enough move, but it should not be getting Roderick the win. A move like Daniel Bryan's running knee works because of the speed Bryan had when hitting it. When Roderick Strong hits the jumping knee, he and his opponent are usually staying still, which doesn't make the finisher look all that devastating. Some might say I made a mistake putting Strong on this list, but I stand by it. I also stand by...
you ain't make no mistake.
This finisher.
I don't think so.
Number 8, best. Brock Lesnar, F5.
I like
the Beast finishing maneuver has been around...
One thing about Brock, I do love the F5.
For almost as long as Brock Lesnar. Like Raquel Rodriguez, I think it's Brock Lesnar that makes his finisher work so well. Sure, other people are strong enough to perform it, but Brock's inhumane strength is what makes the F5 look so good. The move has stood the test of time and looks just as devastating now as it did almost 20 years ago. When Brock spins his opponent in the air, it really resembles someone getting blown around by a tornado. A finisher that won't blow you away though is number
Angel Garza, the wing clipper.
8, worst, Angel Garza, the wing clipper. I like the name of this finisher, but the actual finisher itself, not so much. What makes this a bad finisher is that I don't really get how it's supposed to hurt the opponent. Garza just holds someone up and then sits down. Shouldn't it hurt Garza too, since his butt...
I ain't gonna lie, I don't agree on this one. I think it's alright.
is also hitting the mat. Maybe because Garza has his opponent's head trap, it causes whiplash. Maybe the opponent's head is supposed to be hitting their knee. I don't know. And when you have to start theorizing why a finisher takes someone out, you've got a problem. A finisher that doesn't have that problem is number 7
Phenomenal
best, AJ
forearm.
Styles. Phenomenal forearm. The question everyone must ask themselves is, are you a Styles Clash guy or a phenomenal forearm guy? Well, a Styles Clash is a fine finisher. I have to go with the phenomenal forearm. It's kind of like Roman Reigns' Superman punch, but taken up a notch. Literally. It looks spectacular, with Styles jumping into the air and slamming his forearm into his opponent's face. The finisher also looks impactful, since AJ has all that momentum when he comes crashing down. On the other hand, a finisher that isn't the least bit phenomenal is number 7, worst, Liv Morgan, Oblivion.
No.
Liv Morgan has come a long way since her early days as Marley in NXT. In 2022, Morgan won the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match and cashed in that same night to become the SmackDown Women's Champion. It makes it all the more impressive that she's able to accomplish this with such an awful finisher. The issue is that it rarely looks like the opponent's head hits the mat. I think this is mainly due to Morgan having her arm underneath her opponent. It's kind of cool that she bounces off the rope when she hits Oblivion, but I think this lessens the impact. Alexa Bliss and other wrestlers on the roster also have DDT-like finishers, and those look decent. Liz, on the other hand, does not. Maybe Morgan could learn something from number 6, best, GIOVANNI.
I'ma just be real. I like Liv Morgan, Oblivion. That's just me. And I'm not being biased because a lot of people know I love Liv. I'm just being honest. You know what I mean?
VINCI, elevated powerbomb. If you're not a regular viewer of NXT, you might not have heard of Giovanni. I will tell you, he has one awesome finisher. Rather than just a normal powerbomb, VINCI gets his opponent on his shoulders and then lifts them up even higher before sending them crashing down. I'm sure this finisher is not fun for the person taking it, but it looks awesome. It's pretty much Undertaker's last ride finisher, and VINCI's version is fantastic for the same reasons. Because of the height the opponent gets, the impact looks absolutely devastating. Braun Strowman also has been using a powerbomb finisher since he's returned. I like it, but I'm going with Giovanni because of that extra little height he gets. It's a small detail, but it adds so much. A finisher that does not add anything and actually subtracts is number 6, worst, Charlotte Flair, natural selection. Like Bayley, Charlotte Flair is another wrestler who fans have said has a really bad finisher. It's awful for a lot of the same reasons that the Rose Plan is bad. Since Charlotte's opponent,
I like that though. I like Charlotte finisher. I feel like some people don't sell it right, and that'd be a problem with a lot of the folk moves if people don't sell it right.
Is on their knees when she performs natural selection. The impact when they hit the mat is limited. In fact, there's been plenty of times when it doesn't look like the opponent's head is connected with the mat at all. What makes Charlotte's finisher worse than Bayley's though is that it kind of looks like Charlotte is doing more damage to herself than her opponent. That's a big red flag that you have a bad finisher. Maybe Charlotte should take some notes from number 5, best, Drew McIntyre, the Claymore. The Claymore is the definition of a happy little accident. Drew came up with the move by mistake when he was trying to hit a big boot and accidentally went airborne. Drew decided to say, yeah, I meant to do that, and thus the Claymore was invented. It's a finisher that doesn't require a lot of setup. Drew just runs in and kicks someone in the face. I like that because it makes the Claymore easy to perform at any time, therefore making a finisher that can come from out of nowhere. Also, since McIntyre has to run to hit the Claymore, it always has force behind it. Even more when the opponent is running too. Additionally, I love the audience participation with a countdown Drew will sometimes do before he hits it. All these things combine to make the Claymore one of the best finishers in WWE. This next finisher though does none of this. Number 5, worst. Chase U, the Fratliner. You might not have heard of Bodie Hayward and Andre Chase, collectively known as Chase U. I like their gimmick, and I hope someday we'll get to see them on the main roster. But before they do that, I really hope they get a new tag team finisher. Chase U's finisher, the Fratliner, involves an opponent being placed on top of Bodie Hayward's back. Andre Chase then flips over the opponent and is supposed to hit him with a DDT. However, it looks like Andre Chase takes the brunt of the
I don't know. I just feel like that move is too much going on, but it's really different from what I have seen other tag teams do. So I applaud them for the creativity. But it's just too much going on. Like,
move. At best, you can see the opponent maybe gets a little shaken from the landing, but that's it. The Fratliner falls completely flat, unlike this next finisher. Number 4, best. Zoey Stark, K360,
let's see it.
I think. It seems like nobody knows what Zoey Stark's finisher is called, but it's awesome. She flips her opponent around and then nails them in the face with a knee on the way down. I like that the move is flashy, but still looks devastating. Another reason I like the K3 whatever is that while it's similar to another good finisher, the GTS, Zoey puts her own spin on it, literally. There's nothing wrong with using a pre-existing finisher.
Yeah, that's a different, I ain't never seen, like, no woman do that, yeah.
But I like when wrestlers tweak a move to make it their own. I think this might actually be better than the GTS, honestly. While Zoey Stark is kicking butt with her K-Box 360, this next finisher is doing none of that. Number 4 worst, Lacey Evans, the women's right. 2022 is a rough year to be Lacey Evans. With her
all Lacey Evans do is do a right punch. Like, I don't know how that is supposed to be impactful. Like, she knocked your lights out, basically, I guess.
Returning as a face and then suddenly turning heel again. But they could have made it a little bit better and gotten her a new finisher. Everyone has talked about the women's right, and yeah, it's just a punch. Maybe she had some brass knucks like William Regal, it could work, but it's just her bare fist. Roman Reigns had the Superman punch, but even that wasn't his finisher. Now you might be wondering why this finisher is only the 4th worst. Well, I'll give Evans credit. At least she puts a lot of
that was impactful, though. She not like that.
Force and energy whenever she swings her fist. So even though the women's right is a bad finisher, at least Evans tries to make it look good. Now, an example of a finisher that is actually good is number 3, best. Nathan Frazier, Phoenix Splash. This move is just awesome, plain and simple. The Phoenix Splash isn't anything unique to Nathan Frazier, but he performs it perfectly almost every time. Like the phenomenal forearm, the Phoenix Splash looks dazzling as Frazier flies through the air. The impact.
Hey, Bianca, can you do that? Because I know you can do that other one. Can you do that?
Is solid as well, and those two things make for a great finisher. Ricochet's 630 senton and moves like that look cool, but they lack that hard impact. The Phoenix Splash doesn't, which is why it's so high on the list. This other finisher, though, is a different story. Number 3 worst, KRRION Kross, Crosshammer. Great name, terrible finisher. I think the idea is that Kross is supposed to be hitting the back of his opponent's head with his forearm or elbow. However, it just looks like he's giving them an aggressive slap on the top of their back. Even if this was just a regular move in Kross's moveset, I would still question it. So the fact that it's a finisher is crazy. I was hoping that when Karrion Kross returned to WWE that he would have ditched the Crosshammer, but nope, instead he used it to beat Drew McIntyre at Extreme Rules. Not a good finisher at all. Unlike number 2 best, Montez Ford, Frog Splash. This is another finisher that I don't think really has a name. Well, I'd rather have an awesome finisher without a name than a bad one with a name, and Ford's Frog Splash falls into the former. The height Ford gets is unreal, and it's a thing of beauty seeing this man fly through the air. What puts Montez Ford's finisher over the top, though, is that bounce he adds after hitting the mat. It's like he's hitting his opponent with so much force that it causes him to pop after connecting. That little
I feel like Montez Ford, what makes his finisher stand out, the Frog Splash, when he does it, is that, you know, like he said, he adds his own twist to it. His personality comes out in that move. So, yeah.
Detail makes the Frog Splash, which is already a good finisher, into a really good finisher. Honestly, Montez Ford is on par with RVD for best Frog Splash. Finn Balor's coup de grace also looks spectacular, but it lacks that solid impact like what Montez Ford's finisher has. Now, a finisher that does.
That's it. I'm on to the next video, y'all. I'm out. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.
I'm on my own, against the wall. The pressure's building, but no, I will never fall.